Oh, what's up, my good people? We are back.
That was an amazing. You had some amazing songs on.
You already know Edith been bringing the
Come
word,
on.
brother. You know
Fired
it.
up already.
Edith, he got that clean music. Ooh,
Alright.
ooh. Shout out to Edith one more time. My man bringing the fire, man. Hey, Edith, wherever you at, sign your boy, man.
All love.
Yeah, sign your boy up. You know,
All
you already
love.
know. Bring him on out. Hey, real quick. Hey, we're having a good time in the studio in the commercial break. But yeah, getting back to what Veda was talking about earlier, I think there is a lot of context to what she was saying, and basically, I think in our society today, they kind of want to put you in a box of what they think you should be like.
Yes.
And if you do not fit in that box, they kind of judge you and castrate you.
Very judgmental.
And when they see you, they examine you as something that you are not, and you don't even have a say to say who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I think it's left for us to teach our generation how to love.
True. Because honestly, like, if they can't put you in a box, then it's like, hold on, who is he?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Who is he?
yeah.
They can't put him in a box.
Yeah,
who-
no, I
you know what I
understand.
mean?
I highly resonate with that, considering that every single day, people just come up to me and say, "What are you?"
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because they're just like,
What you mix
or they'll
with?
be snickering or like
Mhm.
just watching and then eventually ask. And it always makes me laugh. Well, it's just like people just want to put you in that box, but when they can't, it blows their mind.
Yeah.
And then that's when people become more open to change and more interested in connecting with different communities and different cultures,
Mhm.
especially in the sense that like people expect me to be a certain way based off my
What you look
appearance
like.
and
Yeah,
just my
exactly.
general like,
Yeah.
countenance and the way I
Mhm.
carry myself.
Mhm.
But then I'm sure you guys just experienced it
I-
when I started talking and really presenting myself.
Yeah.
I was a marketing major and was a marketing student for about 6 years
Mhm.
prior to this year, and you're selling yourself.
Yeah, basically, boom.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when you sell yourself past the box,
Mm,
that's when people really start listening.
exactly. Yeah.
It's like that mic drop. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
'cause you-
I love it.
Yeah, because now you are no longer in the box because they see you outside the box. They're like, who that?
She thought herself way outside the box.
Well, one thing that I would accredit most of my success to and my endeavors that I've done would just be the fact that I don't let that box
Mm.
stop me.
Or dictate who you
I
are.
don't let myself sit in the box and watch the world move around as I'm sitting there.
Ooh.
What I do is I choose to put myself on a pedestal
Yeah.
and the things that I do
Mm.
in the same area, because if you
Standards.
don't see yourself
Mm.
in that light,
Mhm.
then it will show. It really does.
Yeah.
The day that I decided that, you know what, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to really start living my life. I'm going to really start doing the things that I've always wanted to do. I'm going to stop sitting here and stop coming up with excuses to, just kind of hide away from the society and the world.
Talk to them.
And, when you really start to kind of dissect everything and then put it back together,
Yeah.
you find that life's just a lot easier when
Yeah.
you have a cause, you have a purpose,
Come on.
and you love yourself. It's just really
And you
the
keep
only way.
moving forward.
Yeah, just keep moving forward. Because I kind of like what she said, and I believe it's more of a standard thing. You got to put yourself to a standard. And if you don't have a standard, the world gives you a standard.
Mhm.
And the way, for me, the thing that helped me the most, that gave me the day that I have today, I would say it's God.
Mhm.
Because God said He made us in His own image. And if you're made in the image and likeness of God,
Mhm.
that means He has purified you to be the best version.
And
Right?
He knows.
Your greatest version.
The greatest version.
Exactly.
Come on.
He knows. that.
Word to infinite waters.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Diving deep.
Breathing in that beautiful
Ooh,
prana, baby.
I told you.
I'm a 5-year listener.
Ooh, I told you. I told you this about
Okay.
the fire.
No,
up in this
every
bar.
single morning, every night.
Y'all gotta know what we talking
We
about.
got that Hertz music
Yeah.
for meditation,
I feel you.
the pineal gland.
Ooh.
But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother
Definitely,
Um,
definitely. But I do like the touch upon when she's talking about like
Mhm.
having no excuses. Sometimes like I can't wake up out of bed.
Mm.
I can't go to this meeting, or I can't drive here because
Yeah.
of the weather. By you setting excuses is basically putting your own barriers and obstacles in front of
Exactly.
you.
Well,
Why would you want to do that? because life is moving forward. So
Yep.
you're hindering yourself before you even move a step.
Exactly.
Well, I've suffered from mental illness, extreme mental illness my entire life, and a majority of all of my family members do as well. And, you know, it's something that I will have to keep fighting every day for the rest of my life, you know, along with medication in order to be able to find purpose, find joy, find happiness, and build relationships. And that's why I've always had to think more critically in the sense that I have to think about how my actions portray to other people because I don't really have the ability to do so myself. And that's just something that everybody doesn't really think about unless they have to. And the people that think about it just because they can, those are the most successful people. Now that's one way of many ways to become successful is to start thinking about, well, what is this going to do for me and what can I do for other people within my own means? And if I do this, is this going to set me up to do this? You know what I mean? Planning ahead.
Of course.
And then another thing that's really great is just whenever opportunities knock, say yes. I was at 8 years old, I began my entrepreneurship, ventures. I was making like handmade cards.
We got
with,
entrepreneurs.
like,
Up in this house. We got
old school
killers.
classic rock lyrics on them. And then I was selling them 50 cents a card at the coffee shop down the street. They thought I was cute. They said I'd do it. They'd do it.
Yeah.
I was a little kid. Well, then I made $50 in 2 months.
Wow.
To me, that was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
You said you was 8 years old, right?
I was 8 years old.
Okay.
I did it till I was 11. I made $50 in 2 months. That's probably the most I made. But you know what I mean? Like, that was a huge, accomplishment to me.
Exactly.
Even today, I'd be like, $50, shoot. But, and then, the next thing that I did was I was a paid artist, and I had a manager, and I had some of my art pieces sold in a gallery on the Las Vegas Strip when I lived in Las Vegas at the age of 14. I worked 2 full-time jobs starting at 16, and I even built my own car from scratch. I bought a shell off Craigslist, and every weekend at 5 a.m., I would go to the junkyard piece by piece with the money that I had from my 2 jobs, and I would build my car. I would go outsource from people I know. I would network. I'd make friends. I would find wherever I could get the best deal. And, on top of that, I graduated high school a year and a half early with a 4.0 and multiple scholarship offers. I came to UMKC at 17, and I'm currently 19, about to be 20 here in a few weeks, and I'm going to be applying to law school next year.
Wow.
And I will graduate before I'm 21.
Speaking of work.
If you actually, and that's just far and few between. I've had quite a few other projects that have really, been special to me.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do those things is just say yes to the opportunities that are presented to you. Because when you start thinking, oh, well, what am I going to do next? Zeke's telling me that I need to start doing something with myself. I need to get out of my box. Well, what does that mean? That means saying yes to anything that comes along that you think could brighten your day or give you any kind of fulfillment.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything specific, but when opportunities come along, that's when you realize what you really like to do, and that's when all the doors open up for you.
Come on, yeah.
In addition, to just saying yes to things, also prep yourself for those things to happen.
Yeah.
Be ready so when they come, you can accept it.
Come on. They say, I think there's an equation.
When preparations meet
opportunity, then I think it's a success, right?
Of course.
So you already know. So it's, because I believe that, like what she's saying, basically, if you are driven and passionate about something, like she's accomplished a lot, and it's more of you step out and start doing something. But for you, I believe for me to step out and do something, you also have to have a vision. Because without vision, whatever you're doing is a mistake. Because if you don't have a vision for your life, you're just doing random stuff.
Without a vision, there's no purpose.
Thank you. See? So
and without no purpose, you're not achieving no goals.
No, yeah.
If you're not achieving no goals, you're stagnant.
Yes, it's more like being in a treadmill, right? You're running, but you're not moving.
I am working on an autobiography, and it's just really something to support others with mental illness and kind of show them that no matter how bad or how severe things seem,
Yeah.
you can work through it, and there's a way to be happy, and there's a way to do literally anything.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I talk about it towards the beginning, which is kind of what we're touching on with being stagnant or not really having that purpose, is it feels like you're in a glass box, and no one else can see you, but you can't leave your box, and all you can do is watch the world go by. You want to get up, you want to be with those people, because that's how it feels. It's like part of you wants to get up out of bed and wants to start going on that run, or working on that paper, or, applying for those jobs. And then you sit there, and you watch the world go by, and you wonder, why is this happening to me?
Come on, look at that.
And that's when you can really start to acknowledge that box is there.
Yeah.
And then that's when you start chipping away at it. It's a process. My uncle, he's the definition of just what the system will do to you. But my uncle, he's been incarcerated multiple times, served time in prison on multiple occasions, and he is going to live in that cycle and stay in that space as long as he stays in that box and that mentality that he cannot achieve a real job or have a real life, that he can not be someone who is on the streets, who is always taking himself into situations, that is getting involved into all these different hood mentalities, that because he was born at a very racially charged time as a multi-ethnic man in a hood neighborhood, that he had no situation that he was going to be able to succeed in. And to this day, he's had so many opportunities, which all of us have tried to present to him, but he's stuck in that cycle because he's in that box. Your box can be anything. For me, it's mental illness. For him, it's getting out of the mentality that he will never be good enough. And, for a lot of people, it's just trying to figure out what it is that they want to do. And that's why you say yes, because that's when the world and the universe will bring those opportunities to you. You can start with a dream or any kind of talent, but until you can bring your talents to what the world is presenting to you, you are just barking up a tree that's not going to be heard.
Yeah, boom. And I feel like, based on what she said, it's basically, I see it like this. I think Tony Robbins, I'm reading a book, I think it's Discovering Yourself with Dean, but he's talking about how life is basically like if you are on a sea and you're on a boat, and if you do not paddle, the waves will drive you to a cliff and drive you off a cliff.
Right.
So if you're on life and you're not paddling and making your own moves, the wave of life will definitely drive you into somewhere where you don't want to go. So you want to have a vision and be able to work towards a vision, not just having a vision, but be able to work towards a vision. I think, I can't remember his name, but the guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Robert Kiyosaki?
Yeah, Kiyosaki. He made a statement that I loved. He says, never make a statement, always as a question. Statements block your mind. Questions open it up. If you say you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you say, how can we do it?
You figure out a way to achieve.
There's always a way, right? It's more of like, if you're trying something that's not working, don't be scared to step out and try something else. You only have one life to live. But if you start being like, I'm so scared of falling that I don't even want to try. It's more like when I was a baby, when you were a baby and you start walking. If you ever start being like, if I get up again, I'm going to fall, we would not ever walk.
Exactly.
Right? So it's basically, keep trying.
Get out and learn. If you fail, that's okay, because you
find what scares you and take it all the way until eventually it's something that you can be proud of and something that you can say you conquered.
And then you can tell somebody else about it.
Yeah, exactly. Teach.
And help them.
Yep, that's my living purpose, man.
So that's why we're here today, to help you guys find your vision, your purpose, and achieve your short-term and long-term goals.
Exactly.
One thing that I would just like to say before we close up is just that, it doesn't matter what kind of underdog you are. Just a little fact out there for you. I plan to be a partner in my own firm. And, about a year ago, this is when I found the fire. This is when the universe sent this to me. And I realized that this is my purpose and my calling that I've chosen. When I saw that 1% of female minorities are partners in their firm in the U.S. 1%. 2.7 women.
Wow, 1.7%.
That's terrible. Now, you better give a hand for that 1% though.
Damn,
Because they had to beat all odds, and that's the type of people that we all need to try to aspire to be.
And we need to connect with
as
you
an
well.
underdog,
Yeah.
as an underdog, the best advice I can give you is you deserve whatever you present to the world. If you put yourself to a standard of highness, to a standard of being healthy, taking care of yourself, and respecting yourself, then you can do whatever you want, and everybody will eventually have to follow that. It will innately happen if you can learn to take control of the situation, take control of the universe and your being and your reputation, because as they want, they want to keep you down, they want to put you in that box, but when they can't, that's when they start to open up and really ask themselves those types of questions, and that's when people are really intrigued with what you have to say and where you can grow.
Fire.
Yeah. So I believe so I think Denzel Washington said it well. He said, "Each one teach one."
Learn together.
Right? If you do not share your knowledge, you die with it. Coming back to the potentials, because last time I told him that the most valuable place on earth is not the Middle East. It's not the oils in the Middle East. It's not the Bahamas. It's not Beverly Hills. It's the bare ground. It's the graveyards where people with potentials that never got maximized died with potentials. The music, the books,
Exactly.
movies that they never got to do
They
because
never broke out that cycle.
they never stepped out.
Well, that's why there's always another day to live. There's always another reason to keep fighting your fight, whatever that fight may be.
Exactly.
Because that's the difference between letting all of your knowledge and information go, to a blind eye, or really being able to share that.
Yeah, and I want to ask this. Do you think, because I believe that for me, even today, the reason why I believe I have a vision, I have a goal for my life is because of God. Do you think God has a role to play in your life? You're struggling with things and you coming out of the things you've struggled with. Do you think there's a power of God in the life that He has been trying to bring you out of things you've been going through?
I believe that treating yourself with the respect that you deserve and truly finding a purpose in your life and working towards the greater good of other people and mankind, working towards the fact that you are created in this beautiful image and that you can take that wherever you'd like. It's your choice. It's your choice to accept the ride or to sit back in the box and watch life happen. So I definitely think that that's something to think about.
We appreciate you all online streamers for tuning in. We love that this conversation has been outstanding.
It's been fire, man.
It's been a pleasure to be here, guys.
Thank you,
thank you
Veda,
for coming out,
through,
talking to us.
And Veda, and do you have a word for people? Do you have a social media platform they can follow you at, or get some of your juice?
They want to follow you.
I really try to stay off social media, being that it's horribly toxic for like the everyday if you're just scrolling. But I am like everybody else, so I use Instagram. Find me on there at Lemon Haze, 2 E's at the end. Support the movement.
Boom. All right. Well, you already know. We are subscribing on our YouTube channel. It's Fired Up _UMKC. Fired Up _UMKC. Go on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Snapchat too, because it's Fired Up _UMKC. And for me, if you want to get me on social media, you can get me on Snapchat at ZNganga, and also you can get me on Instagram at Zeke _Nganga. That is NGANGA. ZIK _NGANGA. And you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and I always have word there.
Definitely. And if you want to follow me as well, it's at I believe _12. That's I believe _12.
All right, and I believe, and we're gonna end with this. There's always a purpose for everyone. If you believe and have faith, whatever you're going through, there's a purpose for it, and God is gonna work it all through for you. So do not give up wherever you are, and love people, man. Love is the most important law. At this point,
keep your head up.
Peace out. We'll catch you again next week.
Catch y'all on the flippity flip.